All right, welcome back. Aloha, Tulsi Kratz, Bernie Kratz. Got the Tulsi shirt on. Look, I'm all in for Tulsi. I know a lot of people are worried about me. You know, that, Dave, are you giving up on Tulsi Gabbard? No. By the way, this channel is called The Radical Independent. Please subscribe if you haven't. If you can donate via PayPal, I'd appreciate that. The one-time donations have been fantastic. I also have a Patreon link, which I share with my classic rock music channel. I do videos about classic rock people who are has-beens, at least in the world of music today, but I'm trying to keep their legends alive. And there's some stuff, little soap opera stuff that goes on that I cover. That was the first thing I started doing on YouTube, but I actually had a channel a long time ago that was political, and nobody's watching it, but I made a comeback because I found a candidate that I love, and I found an ideology that I think fits who I am. You know, I'm still kind of conservative in some ways. By the way, I am I'm sorry to tell you this, I am a former Trump supporter, and I'm somebody who has so drifted away from that now that I would be comfortable probably in the Green Party. And I'm dead serious. So in any event, Tulsi Gabbard is on this terrific show, which, who doesn't love Crystal Ball? She's just wonderful. She's fantastic. And her sidekick here, Sagar, I think that's how you say his name, he's great too. This is a show called The Rising. The Hill puts this out, Hill.tv. I wish somebody would pick this up, but you know what? This is so non-mainstream media. Maybe RT would pick this up. They'd be smart to do so because these two hosts are terrific. They've got this format where it looks very conversational, almost takes on like this daily talk show thing, very innocuous, and then all of a sudden they start talking progressive, and people are like, whoa. And Crystal, she was recently on with Bill Maher, and she really made mincemeat out of Bill Maher. All right? And here is Tulsi Gabbard explaining to us who she's going to kneecap next. Well, that will be a question that comes up, so I guess I should have did the spoiler alert here. But let's pick this up. It's just, I love Tulsi Gabbard. Absolutely love her. And she just gets better and better as this campaign goes on.
So you've been critical of Senator Harris in the past and even went so far as to question whether she was prepared to be commander-in-chief. We now see Senator Warren really rising in the polls. She's first in a lot of national polls and several state polls as well, early state polls. Do you believe that she's prepared to be commander-in-chief?
I haven't seen much come from her in the way of what kind of leadership and decision-making that she would bring to that most important responsibility that the president
I haven't seen much. All Tulsi Gabbard knows is she sees yet another DNC establishment-endorsed candidate running for president. In my last video, by the way, which you should go back and watch, I discuss the peril, the danger that Elizabeth Warren is now in because Tulsi Gabbard is on the debate stage. Okay, and it's you and I that got Tulsi there. It wasn't big donors that got Tulsi Gabbard to the debate stage. Again, it wasn't corporate America that got Tulsi there. It wasn't a campaign war chest, okay, which Elizabeth Warren has that she, pushed forward into her presidential run. I mean, this is all choreographed, and who knows where else Elizabeth Warren is getting money from. Phone calls to Hillary Clinton for her cannot be a good thing when it comes to you and me. All right? That is not a good sign. And Hillary Clinton, by the way, addressing the whole Donald Trump impeachment thing is kind of a little bit like Stalin talking about Pol Pot. Okay? And I threw that out there and I got a couple of retweets. I know that's kind of extreme, but in the way I see things, the way we're just so pro-war, you've got a very war person against a somewhat war person, and these are hard truths, and a lot of people, they're not there politically speaking. They just, I get it. You're taking care of your kids, you're driving your kids to school, you're making lunches. I do this stuff because I'm kind of like a Mr. Mom kind of character, and it's just tough to get your brain wrapped into all this political nonsense. But I have done it. And it's somewhat rewarding and frustrating all at the same time.
Has as commander-in-chief and just as a soldier and an American, that's very concerning for me. So, for voters, I think that's an important thing to look out for from everyone who's running for president, is what kind of experience do you have in this area? What kind of depth and understanding do you bring to these very nuanced and complex issues with how the United States is relating with other countries? What kind of leadership we're providing in the world, and having the kind of foresight and judgment that we've seen leaders from across both party lines have lacked for far too long.
That's a neocon reference right there. That's a shot across the bow to neolibs and neocons, which she has lumped Elizabeth Warren into that group. She wouldn't do this if it were Bernie, okay? She did it here because she knows that Elizabeth Warren is a corporatist, and she's lumping her in with, like I said, there's not much difference on foreign policy between Elizabeth Warren and Mike Pence. I know, and that will make heads explode across the political spectrum. The whole, when you look at everybody who hates Mike Pence because supposedly he's really anti-gay, all right? Those people can't wrap their minds around the fact that when it comes to foreign policy, Mike Pence and Elizabeth Warren are about the same person. Sorry. I'm glad that Elizabeth Warren is pro-gay. I don't think she's going to do a whole lot for the gay community. And we know Mike Pence isn't going to do anything. But the point is that they're very similar on foreign policy. And by the way, Mike Pence is the vice president. And if you impeach Trump, you'll get Mike Pence as president. So you'll have a warmonger who apparently isn't too friendly to the gay community. So that's what you get when you impeach Trump. Just throwing that in there. All right.
That have brought us to this position where, for all three of us, we've seen our country at war for the vast majority of the years that we've been alive.
One thing we debated this morning was, when we heard the news that you were going to be up on the stage, is who are you going to kneecap next? Last time it was Kamala Harris.
I saw that too.
Yeah. We had a big debate. We were like, who is she going to take out? You effectively ended Kamala Harris's candidacy. She's down at 3% in the latest, I think, Emerson poll. Who's the next target for you?
I'm actually running for president.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Look at the smiles. Can I just gloat along with them and smile along with this group of people? Because these people, look, for once, there are two commentators I like. There's a presidential candidate I like. And they're talking my language. Who are you going to kneecap next? Tulsi Gabbard. And again, check my video from this morning. And I hadn't seen, full disclosure, I hadn't seen this piece from Rising. And this just validates what I think is about to happen to Elizabeth Warren. And I'm doing this. I am doing that, and I am looking forward to it.
I just want to remind everybody that.
Yeah, that's right.
No, that's. I mean, look, it's a great platform to be on the debate, to be able to speak to millions of people across the country, and so that is what I'm looking forward to doing is to be able to make my case to them, offer why I'm offering to serve them, the experience that I would bring to this role as commander-in-chief, and why it is such a central issue to everything else that we're facing.
Well, one of the things that has been tremendously disappointing to me, and I think is part of why I was so sorry that you weren't on the last debate stage, is because there has been so little focus on foreign policy.
Exactly.
And this is the arena where the commander-in-chief does have the most power, right? This is one of the most important exercises of power in that office. What has been your sense of that conversation, and what would you like the debate moderators to focus on this time on this next debate stage?
Well, obviously, and I know how she's going to answer, the debate moderators aren't going to focus on those things, so let's just put it in there. They're going to, in fact, probably throw some roadblocks up on Tulsi because they know Tulsi is going in. She's going in on Warren, and there's no question in my mind that if Tulsi wants to defend her country, she's got a military mindset. She wants to defend her country against enemies both foreign and domestic. Tell you what, I go after Elizabeth Warren, and I look at it as mission accomplished if we end up doing what we did to Elizabeth Warren, the same thing that we did to Kamala Harris. If that occurs, and even if Tulsi doesn't get the nomination, I will be forever grateful to Tulsi Gabbard.
Look, I think it would be very valuable for voters to have a foreign policy focused debate, period.
Yeah.
Given that this is the most important responsibility the president has, given we're seeing right now with President Trump occupying the Oval Office, pushing us to the brink of an all-out inferno of a war with Iran that would go across the region, be far more costly than anything we saw in Iraq, tearing up the nuclear deal.
Does anybody think that CNN is going to do a foreign policy debate? I don't. It'd be nice, though. I agree with her.
With Iran, every day that goes on that we are not in that deal, Iran is moving forward and developing a nuclear weapon. I mean, the tearing up of the INF treaty, you see all of these different examples of how consequential these decisions are. I think that voters deserve more than just having one or two foreign policy related questions in a 2-hour-long debate with 30 to 60-second answers coming from candidates. It does not do the issue justice. It does not do our servicemen and women justice who have to live with the consequences of who our commander-in-chief is, and it doesn't do justice for the American people.
One thing I do.
All right, and this is why Tulsi Gabbard is such a great candidate for president. I mean, first of all, she has a sense of humor, and she's genuine. And she doesn't obviously take herself all that seriously, even though we all do. Because we know, like I said in other videos, and I'm not saying this to be a suck-up to Tulsi Gabbard, but she's a better quality human being than I am. All right? I have not sacrificed for my country. I don't run around telling people service above self. She can do that. You know why she can do that? Because she's done it. She's led by example. If you're a Christian, that's the whole message of Christianity, is to put yourself before other people. And it's tragic we live, and there are a lot of other religions. I just singled Christianity out. I happen to be a nominal Christian on certain days. But Tulsi Gabbard is living it. She's living it. And her plea or her proclamation, whatever you want to call it, to have us aspire to do better than what we're doing, she knows that collectively speaking, you need an inspirational president. Right now we have Donald Trump, okay? So we've got 0 on the inspiration scale. And there have been other presidents too, by the way. I used to support Trump. I wanted a guy to go in there, run it like a business and so forth, and then I realized that he's basically running it like a business, even though I thought that was good at first. He's running it like a business, which means he wants a lot of short-term gains, and he wants to climb on the backs of working people in order to make the economy look like it's just humming along. Meanwhile, there are a lot of warning signs that this approach is probably going to birth yet another recession. Folks, we need Tulsi Gabbard as president because she's better. She's better than this field. She's a better quality human being. She'll lead, that whole lead with love thing. That's her, okay? But she's tough. When somebody comes at her, she's coming back at them. She's serious about reforming the government, and especially when it comes to these military commanders that are basically running the country right now. Because if you take all of this money and you give it to them, it shows that they have all the power, all right? And all our other priorities essentially get voted on by these military commanders. They say, well, I know there's a homeless problem in, pick a city. San Francisco. There's a big homeless problem in San Francisco. We can't deal with that right now because we've got Iran. Iran is doing some saber rattling, and we're going to go in there, and we're going to do some damage over there. And the stocks are all going to go up for half of these congressmen that, and by the way, a lot of Democrats who have plenty of things, plenty of their portfolio in war stocks. Let's just say it like it is. Talk about a conflict of interest. I can guarantee you Tulsi Gabbard does not do that. All right? She is trying to be a true populist. She is trying to get back to representing average workaday folks who don't have a lot of power and who want a better country, who understand that our country cannot be just a wartime economy forever. That's why the Green New Deal makes sense, by the way. I know a lot of people, people on the right, libertarians and so forth, they can't deal with the idea of a green economy. Well, a green economy is far better than a brown economy or a camouflage economy, and that's what we have now. So I am very hopeful that Tulsi is going to go in there, and she knows she's got a job to do. She's not afraid of a mission. This is her soldier mentality kicking in. And her next target, like I said in the last video, is Elizabeth Warren. So look out, Elizabeth Warren, because Tulsi Gabbard could get a question about marshmallows, okay? Do you like marshmallows, Tulsi? Yeah, I want to tell you about Elizabeth Warren and why she shouldn't be commander-in-chief. She'll do it. She did it in the last debate. She did it in the first debate. She turned the question back around, and immediately she sparked a real discussion, which these moderators don't want to have because they're too busy trying to do the tribal stuff, throw wedge issues out there. They'll probably give Tulsi a question about her so-called conservative beliefs when she was younger. Again. Or possibly foreign policy. Well, do you think it's good? And I guarantee you, Elizabeth Warren will parrot the whole Assad thing, and she'll be on Morning Joe the next day as a hero. Whereas Tulsi Gabbard will be on with, Tucker Carlson, who will praise her for doing the right thing, for calling out the military-industrial complex, and for being real on the campaign trail. And that just shows you how screwed up network TV is right now. And I think more and more that you should stay away from that coverage, but it's inevitable. A lot of people get their information from these corporate news sources. Anyway, I'm thankful that I support this candidate, and I will support her until either she's the president, up until she becomes president, or she decides that she doesn't want to run for president anymore. Until I hear her say, I'm done, my support is still with her. As much as I think Bernie is a formidable candidate, I think Tulsi is head and shoulders above and better. That's just me. You Bernie people, I understand why you love Bernie. Bernie is a very sympathetic person, especially when it comes to the working class. I've seen a lot of videos, powerful videos from his campaign, where he's empathizing with people. But I think we need to start with the military-industrial complex because they are in control of our government. All right, I'm done. See you all soon. Thanks for watching.